lot of you have requested this video. A little while back, I did a video about all the flutes that I ever owned, and then you were asking about all the piccolos I've ever owned, so today I'm going to show them all to you. Make sure that you stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to play all the piccolos for you so you can really hear a side-by-side comparison of all of them. As you might know, I have a bunch of perks for you at the Flute Center of New York, so if you are looking for a new instrument, you can use my code Gina on the website and you'll get free shipping, an extended trial, and an extended warranty, as well as 10% off of all sheet music. And if you're wanting to consign your flute with the Flute Center and you have repairs that need to be done on the instrument, you'll get $25 off of those. If you're interested more in consigning your flute, you can check out this video right here. So let's get started. I first want to share with you my story about how I started on piccolo. As many of you know, I started playing flute when I was 4.5 years old, and so I was taking private lessons all the way through, and then in 7th grade I was in band, and the way that it worked in my school district is junior high was 7th to 9th grade, whereas I know some places middle school is 6th through 8th, so for us 7th through 9th. So the band that I was in was primarily comprised of 9th graders. I was at the very beginning the only 7th grader in the band, which was crazy. But anyway, I was second chair sitting next to a 9th grader. So the way that it worked was that the first flute player would play flute, and if there was a piccolo part on whatever it was that we were playing, they would be the one playing piccolo, so I was not required to play piccolo at all. However, when the musical rolled around, the first flute player was in the musical, and so then I was now technically like the first flute player for the musical, and so now I was required to play piccolo, and there was a piccolo part for it. We were playing Brigadoon, which was just so much fun, my very first musical that I had ever played, but my band teacher literally just gave me a piccolo that they had at the school, and we're like, okay, learn this. We have our first rehearsal in about a week. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've literally never even tried to play a piccolo, so that was pretty crazy. So I had that piccolo for a very short period of time, and then we rented a piccolo for probably about 6 months or something like that until I was able to find one that I wanted to actually purchase. But I don't have that one, obviously, since I was renting it, but I have something similar. This piccolo, I think, is going to be the closest comparison that I can show you. I don't know the exact model that I was playing on originally, the one that I was renting. I do know it was a Gemeinhardt. So this one is a Gemeinhardt 1P. It has a plastic body with a silver-plated mechanism as well as head joint. And like I said, I'm going to be playing this for you at the very end of this video, so make sure to stick around. The piccolo that I ended up purchasing is this one right here. I ended up purchasing it either end of 7th grade or beginning of 8th grade, I can't remember. It is made out of resin, which is a hard plastic, as well as a silver-plated mechanism, and as you can see, the head joint is also the resin rather than the silver-plated head joint. I am not, however, going to tell you the maker of this. I had a really bad experience with this company. I'm not going to go into it in this video, but if you're interested in learning more, I have a video all about it right here. But it was a great piccolo for me to start on. I played it in youth symphony. I played the Vivaldi Piccolo Concerto on it in high school, and then it also got me through my very first year at Colburn. And then after that, I was playing piccolo a lot more once I was in college, and so I needed an upgrade. So the next one that I got was this one right here. It is a Burkart Phelan. They actually don't make this particular model anymore, but I will have something similar linked below. This is a fantastic piccolo that I actually had up through a couple years ago, and I've played it so much. I really love this piccolo. The way that I found this piccolo was I was at the National Flute Association convention. I think that that is a really great way if you're looking for a new instrument. That way you can try a bunch of different instruments, see what you sound the best on, because as we know, just because I sound good on a particular instrument doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. So that's really important. But this is where I encountered the other flute maker. Just to clarify, obviously it is not the Flute Center of New York. I've had a very pleasant and good experience with them, obviously. And they were the ones who I purchased my next piccolo from. But anyway, this, like I said, this was a really great piccolo for me, and it got me all the way through college and into my professional career. So the specs on this piccolo is it is made out of grenadilla wood. The mechanism is sterling silver. It has a split E mechanism, which is really helpful on piccolo, and it has a wave head joint. If you haven't tried a wave head joint before, this is really helpful when you're starting on piccolo, or maybe you don't play a ton of piccolo and you just have to pick it up here and there. It just really helps focus the air. And so if you're not playing a ton of piccolo, it just is really helpful when you're picking it up, and you can switch between instruments a lot easier. Also, upgrading from the resin, which is the hard plastic, to actual wood provided a really big upgrade for me in the sound quality of the instrument. And then in the summer of 2019, I was ready to upgrade piccolos. I needed something that was just a little bit more advanced. I was playing a lot of piccolo, especially in the studios, so I started my journey to find a new piccolo. So what do you think I did? I went to the NFA convention again, and I tried all the piccolos, and then I told the Flute Center of New York my favorites, and they sent me out several different trials so that I could find the right instrument for me. And if you're interested in watching how I did my trial and how I chose my particular piccolo, you can watch this video right here. And this is the piccolo that I ended up going with. So the body is also a Burkart. It's the Burkart Elite, and the head joint is a Mancke head joint. So let me tell you the specs of this one. The head joint, like I said, is by Mancke, and it is made out of Mopane wood. The body is made out of grenadilla wood, and the mechanism is sterling silver. And I decided to go with all the bells and whistles and got the split E mechanism, the high G sharp, as well as the vented C sharp key. I absolutely love this piccolo. It has a beautiful sound. It's very easy to play, and I think I'll be sticking with it for a very long time. And now I'm going to do a comparison and a side-by-side so that you can really hear the difference between all these piccolos. So I'll start out with the Gemeinhardt. This one has a really great sound. One thing that I will mention is that if you are primarily wanting to play piccolo, especially for marching band, do not get a wooden piccolo because it will not fare well with the elements. So this would be a really great piccolo if you are planning on using it for marching band. It has a really bright sound and it will carry very well, and it's a great piccolo. Next up is the first piccolo that I purchased, which is the Resin Piccolo. So I'm gonna play it for you. I will mention that this has not been serviced in a very long time, so definitely some pads that need replaced and things, so it's not gonna sound its best, but I wanted to play it for you just so that you got an idea of what this piccolo sounded like. As you can tell, it has a little bit of a warmer sound than the last one. The other one is very direct and focused. This one has a warmer sound, like I said. So you can hear that. Sorry for the leaks, but just notice that going forward. So next up we have the Burkart Phelan. This one, again, is grenadilla wood, so it is a major upgrade to the last piccolo that I just played. What I'm noticing with this piccolo is it has a much fuller sound than the last piccolo that I played, and it also has a better sound in general. And last but not least, we have the Burkart Elite with the Mancke head joint and Mopane wood. So this one, it's just like I said, it's so easy to play. And just like we heard a huge difference between the plastic piccolo to the wooden piccolo, and then now this last one to this one, I think that this is a huge, huge difference in the sound. Like I said, it's just so much easier to play. It has a very warm sound, a very sweet sound, and is definitely what I was looking for in this new piccolo. Thank you so much to the Flute Center in New York for making this series possible. If you have any questions for me or suggestions for future videos, please leave them in the comments below. And also make sure that you're subscribed to me for future videos about flutes and anything flute related. And follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and I'll see you next time.